There is a longing or desire in each of us to be in control of how and where we want to live. For instance, the question of where to buy a house, the quality of public spaces you expect in the surroundings, availability of non motorized transport, such as walking and cycling routes. Clearly, there are many things that are beyond our control, such as the movement of property prices, access to good mortgage deals. But one of the things that we can influence is in how the places we want to live get designed, be it the design for a town center extension or a new residential development in the suburbs. We as residents of the city can become vitally interested and many a time are provided opportunities to engage in how these spaces are planned and designed. Today, I discuss ways by which any member of the general public can look at spaces without any preconceived notions of how they might function, but rather to base it on the information one collects as the space is experienced. Two scenarios will be discussed, and we look at the Geddes Quadrangle within the University of Dundee campus. In scenario 1, I am a visitor to Dundee and I am on the lookout for interesting spaces as and when it appears. So I'm walking along Perth Road and I make a turn onto Small Wynd. The Geddes Quadrangle sounds interesting. Quadrangle does not sound like a building, or maybe it is a courtyard. Let's go and see. So there is in some senses feeling of intrigue. But where do I go next? This way? Possibly. There are questions of legibility here. Now that looks like a walkway between buildings. And there appears to be, in some senses, a movement in that direction. Now look at that. The courtyard reveals itself. No doubt it's a nice little space tucked away from the bustling crowds. There are even benches here. A great place to read and have my lunch. It's clearly functional as well. On the whole, very interesting sets of experiences, and I thoroughly enjoyed the use of the courtyard. I definitely want to come back here. In the second scenario, I am a member of a residents association and who is interested in documenting good quality public spaces so that some of these ideas can be suggested in a forthcoming community charrette in my area. A friend of mine recommends the Geddes Quadrangle, and I get hold of a map of the area and start to document how I experience the space from different access points. From the map, it appears that I can get to the courtyard in one of three ways. So clearly, it is a very accessible space. Further, the pathway to the courtyard is not in a straight line, as the map reveals. This is seemingly a good thing, and possibly gives it the notion of a secluded public space. And thus, it does bring about privacy in the courtyard area. There are also series of steps on both these access points. And as I'm climbing through one of the south, it would appear that the northern exit is at a higher level than the courtyard. So there is a nice play of levels. So one would say that topography is quite important in the design of public spaces. Now I can tell people why this space works and what can be done to improve one's experience of such spaces. But I have also learned that a space needs to be accessible to all user groups. Here, the only way people can come into the space is through a series of steps, and therefore it can exclude other users. So, what we have seen today are different ways of documenting our understanding of spaces without any preconceived knowledge of quality of spaces. In a subsequent discussion, I will take you through an alternative approach where you look at a space after having developed a thorough understanding of space types.